Because agreement is how you attract. Once you disagree, you break the bond. If somebody is running their life with this script, culture said this, culture said that, and you look at that culture and say, I unsubscribe. That's disagreement is that your story and the story of that person does not compute. Because entanglement is when you decide to be producing, right? Your story and this story starts to weave. You start living your life together and you start agreeing. Before you know it, you don't know where you start, where the person stops. Everybody's now entangled as one energetic. You are them, they are you. You think for them, they think for you. Their expectation is your behavior. Your behavior is their expectation. Wow, wow. Entanglement. But you agree to it. And so part of what also needs to happen when people want to break out into higher dimension is you have to unravel your entanglement with the past. You may have agreed to be a certain person in the past, to behave a certain way in the past, based on other people's expectations. They've come to expect you to be this, to be that. They've dictated who you are, right? And you've been that. When you want to be something else, even this is part of the reasons many people cannot break out. They try this, what would they say? Whenever you hear you say, what would they say? You are entangled with the people whose thoughts have programmed you. Whenever you are using other people's thoughts that are not yours, you are using their thoughts, you are prioritizing their thoughts. Their thoughts hold more weight than your own thoughts for your own life. Entanglement. Energetic entanglement. When I say energetic entanglement, is that the story is in their hands. The story that your body is producing is in the hands, was created by somebody else, or it could have been created by you in the past. A younger you created a story. The older you is entangled in the younger you story. When you want to live in a bigger house, bigger story, you have to finish your unfinished business, close the tab, and say, you know what? I'm done. In fact, this is one of the opportunities certain cultures have. When humans, when children, when we move through phases of life, there needs to be rites of passage. Hear me well. When a baby becomes a toddler, there are many things you do. There are many things you stop doing for that toddler, and you challenge the baby you stop doing for the baby, you challenge the toddler to start doing. You stop feeding it. You give it plate and spoon. Feed yourself. Carry your plates. Do rite of passage. Toddler to this. You withdraw. You stop the child from small things. When I was a child, I was drinking milk. Now you are mature. Give the child meat to mature. But many cultures don't give the rites of passage, and they don't help people build self-agency from preteen to teen, from teen to young adult, from young adult to full adult. There are certain things you need to be releasing people to be able to do. Close the chapter of childhood. But here's the thing, what you're going to see. People who had power over you when you were a child, they still want to have that same power and control when you're a full-grown adult, because they've not closed the chapter of who they were to you when you were 5, when you were 15. They still want to be that person in your imagination as a full-grown adult. Deal with your unfinished business. Did that hit home for somebody? Did that compute for somebody? When cultures don't give rite of passage, because humans come in, you go through life. How people talk to you, engage with you at 5, at 15, at 20, ought to be different when you're 40, 50, 60. When you find yourself at a certain age, and people are still talking to you because they knew you, they changed your diapers. You are entangled in their story, and their story can make you remain immature. This is so serious because your energy is tied or producing a movie somebody else. You are still producing immature personality because somebody expects you and sees you and will never let you go. They don't want you to grow, and you are producing immature outcomes in your life. Finish your unfinished business. You know why? Rite of passage ought to mean that when a mom gives birth to a child, cut the umbilical cord. Right? Let the baby be independent. But many people are trapped in what we call codependent relationship. You are not independent, you are not dependent, you are codependent. Till when? You start out being dependent. People feed you. They're responsible, they're accountable, they have control. What you eat, what you do, when you sleep, when this, da da da. Teenage year is where codependence lives in. You give a little bit control, give a little bit responsibility, teach the person how to be more mature. Once you go past teenage, you're supposed to be, right, independent. And your relationship is supposed to be, right, right, meaning independent. You have your own mind, you have your own thoughts, you have your own desires, you have your own will. Live it out. Nobody will question you how you live your life because they respect and honor your decisions. That is energetic freedom. Your emotions are healthier. People's emotions are healthier if they go through the stages of dependence, codependence in teenage years, and after teenage years, they become independent, meaning that the decisions they make, okay, the way they are living their life, they are fully responsible, they are fully in charge, they are fully in control, and nobody's yanking, nobody is withdrawing, nobody is using emotions to tie you down to their will, to their control, to their expectations. Does that make sense? Because if you are independent, it means you can think differently. You can think for yourself. You can produce what you want to produce, not what other people want you to produce. You can be who you want to be and not be tied up with judgment of other people. Because those who judge you, that you consider their thoughts more important than your thoughts, many people break down again and they submit themselves under that. That is imbalance in power. Independent, codependent, interdependence is a power dynamic. Is driven by power dynamic, which, like, there are maps and drawings in my school. I want to encourage you to go to Toyin Umesiri Academy right here. Okay. Access the emotional processing tools, the emotional healing tools. You see that. And then you get a lot of bonuses in the community and all of those things. Then we also have the wealth school, the business school, and all of that. It's the most advanced school in the world for wealth builders, business owners, entrepreneurs, community leaders, pastors, like people who want to do big things upon the earth. So we have the human intelligence side, we have the business academy, we have resources for well-being, all of those things. It's just incredible. Okay. So check that out. So when I say power, remember I started this with power. Spiritual, soul, okay, body. Your heart energy bank receives spiritually connected to soul desire, emotional processing. The mind produces, creates, manifests, tells the body what to produce, and it's connected to the quantum field, all of those things. My student knows that. Okay. Codependence, dependence, okay, interdependence in the fourth dimension is a power dynamic. It creates a power dynamic in the spiritual world where if you don't have knowledge to set yourself free, knowledge to resist lies produced, okay, like truth to set you free. This is why you need this type of knowledge. Many people are in conditions in the fourth dimension that they're like, why is this person doing me this? Why is this person? They've been thrown off energetically. And what happens in the fourth dimension has implication on your health, on the health and well-being, on your health, wealth, well-being of your physical self. Because when we talk about soul misalignment, is that when in the fourth dimension you are busy processing, prioritizing other people's thoughts versus the thoughts emanating from your own spirit, your own dreams, your own desires, who you want to see, right? Who you want to see expressed, third dimension, how you want to express yourself. This is where also what leads to suppression, depression, all these things is at the fourth dimension where other people's spiritual force, power is so strong, their thoughts overwhelm you, and your own thoughts cannot surface. Because energy is what you use to carry information around in the world. If your own energetic vibration is not strong enough to resist nonsense thoughts, to to detangle yourself, to discern where do you start and end, where do they start and end, and to form a boundary, spiritual boundary, emotional boundary, intellectual boundary, physical boundary. Sometimes physically you need to step away and leave people alone, because many people in certain cultures, they don't know where you end, they too are entangled with you. So there's no interdependent relationship, meaning you are powerful, let's work together, recognizing each person's interdependence, and live beautiful life and collaborate and enjoy each other's company in love. Codependence leads to a lot of judgment, accusations, not understanding people. Why? Because that person is no longer producing what you want them to produce. Now you don't understand them anymore. Now you are labeling them as distinct, as wrong. Because why? They are no longer you. But when people produce what you want them to produce, you like them. You see, you like the people who do what you want them to do, who say what you want them to say. If you say jump, they jump. You say sit down, they say, I like you so much. We tend to like the people who respond to us the way we want them to respond. And the people who gain independence, where you can't control anymore, you can't yank, you can't lay claim to anymore. They are free from you. Many people don't know how to be in relationship with a free, powerful version of you. And even many people don't have the confidence and the strength to stand up. That's why Jesus said, listen, carry your mat and walk. Remove the crutch. Codependence walks teenager. Beyond it, it's unnatural. It's very unnatural. And part of emotional processing is to dig deeper, because you are processing, you are using your energy to process other people's thoughts and prioritize other people's thoughts. And so your body is still producing the results other people expect you to produce. That is okay if you are a teenager. It's okay. Because ultimately, when God wants to use you and elevate you, He wants your spirit. He will drop everything in your spirit, and your spirit ought to be the authority, the domain. The first exercise of dominion, of domain of your spirit is upon your own mind, your body, your heart, your soul. That is the first domain where you exercise authority and dominion because you need it to produce, to create what God wants you to create. But if your fourth dimension is loaded, noise, you know the noise I'm talking about. You need to sit down and process those things, because beneath it is your real life. When you clean, it's like pure gold. When you are refined, the dirt, when you remove all the noise, all the feel, all the confusion, other people's expectation, other people's this accusation, because you are not who they want you to be, good for them, fantastic. Live your good life. because you are not dancing, you are not shouting, you are not controllable. Fantastic. Listen, interdependent relationship is when people respect you for being you and they cease to try to control you. Meaning they respect your thoughts. They don't have to agree. That's also part of interdependent relationship is you don't need to agree with me. I don't need to agree with you. We don't have to be thinking alike. We don't have to be producing. Listen, that doesn't mean you should start judging people or people should judge because you can hear in the fourth dimension, you hear other people's thoughts. Thoughts are real, beliefs are real because energetically you can pick it up through intuition. In the third dimension is where the five senses rule, things you can see, taste, touch. But many times, because people are not intuitive, they've not done this work, you've not come home to understand emotional processing, that emotions are loaded with instruction coming from the spiritual side, with power loaded to produce a certain result. And when you find your body producing, your central nervous system is triggered and triggered and triggered. Why is it triggered? It's because you are producing a story you don't want to produce anymore. Because if it is the story you want to produce, if it pleasures you, your trigger will not be negative. It will be happy. You'll be happy with yourself when yourself is producing what makes you happy. And what makes you happy is when your thoughts and your desires and your hopes, dreams, and aspirations manifest in the third dimension. But I'm saying what stands in the way is lack of emotional processing. If you have desire, but somebody else's desire is a higher priority in your life, and you are feeding it to your flesh, when that person calls, you jump up instinctively, triggered, carry over of your childhood, carry over of when people start saying, oh, fear, anxiety, where did you get it from? That's why one of the resources inside the emotional processing is what I call family of origin psychological assessment. What makes you think and believe the things you believe, and what is making you produce the behavior in your body and the emotions you are producing? Know it. Are you vibrating like daddy? Are you vibrating? Are you carrying the leftover stories they didn't finish? Generational? One. Do people want the truth? Go and do the work. This is the only work that matters because you need a clean slate to now live. If where you're coming from, nobody has lived the life you want to live, you need a clean slate. Give your heart to Jesus and let him clean it so that you are set free. You close the tabs. All these questions, why did this person treat me this way? Why does my mommy behave this way? Why do they treat me this way? Why did they do? Because in the fourth dimension, you have question mark. Yeah. Who, what, where, when, how, who, right? These are the stories you're carrying around and they are consuming energy. Okay, let's see. Comments. You are not responsible for other people's behavior. That's the first thing. What other people choose to do, how they choose to express themselves, okay? You are not responsible for them. Because that is the first place you need to detach your energy from. Because one of the places people attach energy to is trying to understand what is not for you to understand. People act in ways to their own decision. Everybody takes action based on what's happening in their fifth, fourth, third dimension. And that stuff is so deep. It can be spiritual, it can be emotional, it can be psychological, it can be behavioral. Okay, what is going on inside people that makes them behave a certain way and conclude a certain way and do things that nobody can comprehend why they will do this. I'm trying to say, don't use your energy to be trying to unravel somebody else's inner stories. Listen, Bible says the heart of man is this. What is inside people's hearts, what is in their soul, what they are carrying historically, DNA, history, it is a lot of stuff. That's why I talk about entanglement. The best thing you can do is to get your heart, your own heart right, so that you can think and have clarity. And getting your heart right is it's also work, because if the heart is loaded with pain and reality and confusion and lack of, like, it's, if you want to quickly as possible, the best way I know to do that is to do what Jesus said: come to me, all you who are heavy laden, and I will give you what? Rest is what you need right now. Rest in your soul, peace in your soul, so that God's instruction and direction and comfort can reach your soul. Because what usually happens is that there's a mapping. Whenever you are praying and you say you need God, you need God, you need God, the first thing is that you must make room for God in your heart. That's emotional processing. But if your heart, if you are busy, because your heart cannot be processing this and processing that. If you are using your heart, what did they do? Why did they do this? Well, things you cannot control. You may not be able to hear what God is trying to tell you, the direction is trying to give you, the comfort is trying to give to you. Many people don't focus on God, they focus on their circumstance. And the first thing you want to do is to drop everything you cannot control. Drop it at the feet of Jesus. That's the first. There's no point carrying a weight and that you are not, you will crush yourself, but you need yourself to be well. So the first thing you need to do is detach. When you see your mind trying to say, oh, this, you have to train and retrain yourself from thinking thoughts that doesn't lead you to peace, that doesn't lead you to wholeness, that doesn't show you the direction to progress. Because that's where the enemy lives in. Confusion, doubts, this, anxiety, this. That's what creates, when you start processing thoughts that you don't have the power to control, you don't have a handle on, people you can't change, things, circumstances that you can't change, things in other people's hands, other people's behavior. You are not gifted the energy to control another. If you try it, you will weigh yourself down, you take yourself down. So let people go, release people, give them to God. They are God's creation. You can't really understand them. Number two, your heart's pain, struggle, drop it at the feet of Jesus and then ask God to give you the peace, because inside peace is where you will hear the voice of God. Is where you will receive help. Everything you're looking for is inside peace. And every other thing the enemy will try to do is to create a noise that will drown out what God is trying to tell you. So on this journey, the best thing you can do is to, as much as possible, don't use your mind and your heart to carry chaos. Because when you put peace in your heart, peace will become your physical life. Because what you process in your heart is what you are going to create externally. And so external reality you cannot change, you cannot control, but you can control your heart. And the power God has given you is, when you hold peace in your heart, you will produce peace outside you, no matter what you're going through. You will, if what the external world will turn around to match what is in your heart. The enemy knows this. That's why he tries to first put the wrong seed in the heart. That's why I'm saying remove that seed. No matter how it is, make sure you guard the garden of your heart, that you don't complain, you don't point fingers, you don't get yours, because that stuff takes people down so quickly. You keep your heart as much as possible calm. This is where you trust God that He's rushing in with the answers you need right now, because He is. And your heart must be ready to receive those answers and that instruction, because He is there with you. But you need to calm down. You need to leave what you cannot control alone. And the one thing you can control through this journey is your heart. And when you control, you put peace in your heart, peace will be in your mind. If you put peace in your mind, peace will be in your body. And those are the things you need. That is what will produce peace outside you. Many people won't be able to explain, why is she so good? Okay. It's because peace in your heart, peace in your mind, peace in your body. But if your heart is like one one one, then the mind goes one 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 one, and then the body goes one 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 one. That is it. You can't that So your heart, give it to God. Trust that you know the answer you need is rushing in, and that will be best recommendation for somebody going through something right now. Bring your heart to a place of peace, to a place of calm, to a place of rest as quickly as possible. Because once you do that, the higher vibrational, the thoughts of God, what I call the frequency of heaven, you can hear God better. Because that's what you need to hear. When you need direction, instruction, you need to make room so that you can hear God better. And many people, it's tough to listen, to tune in when the heart is like, desiring outcomes or experiencing things. So I just that's just a real life. Anybody in the midst of something right now, you really you need your heart. That's why emotional processing is the ones you cannot control, let it go quickly. I mean, this is very advanced. That's why there are workbooks, at least 4 workbooks, plus many other bonuses in my school. Everybody needs this skill. So yeah, I'm actually wrapping up. There's a whole lot, like as you know, my school has a ton of resources, contents, classes, courses, the most advanced when it comes to self-actualization, science of spirituality, mindset, emotional intelligence, leadership, business, sales, marketing, right? Because we apply this to when it comes to connecting with other people. Because if you don't know how to process your own emotions, if you don't know how to understand yourself, everybody you're in relationship with, or anybody you want to be in relationship with, every other human, you're designed the same way. What's majorly different is what you are putting in your system. Nature, nurture, culture, DNA, historical stuff. But ultimately, every human, you're working with the knowledge bank, okay, that is inside you. And there's common knowledge. There's something we call common knowledge, right? Who decided that this is called a phone? We all agreed we will call it a phone. But who called it a phone first? Who decided an apple will be an apple? Who decides A is A? And then taught everybody to say A is A. This is how you draw A. A can be used this way. Every human is taught how to think, what to believe, okay, how to process, okay, and that's what you produce. The question is, who taught you? What cultural scripts are you using to interpret life and conclude on life? Your knowledge bank, where did it come from? Do they make you powerful or make you powerless? That's what's different in humans all over the world. Is what you believe, what you are told to believe, what you've been taught to believe, are they producing the results that you want to produce? Right? That's what maturity gives you. That's where independence allow you to think again what you've been told to think about, and to choose what you really, really want to think about. And so many things are happening at the same time. Cultures that have a corrupted knowledge bank, that wants you to produce a limited life, a powerless life, a fearful, defeated life. They feed their people junk stories that people produce it. And those cultures, so that you don't break free, what do they create? Codependent relationship. Command and control is also part of that culture. Because when you break out, when you choose not to believe what they want you to believe, and you start thinking and producing what God wants you to produce, you've escaped the programming. You've escaped. That's break free. Most cultures create codependent. They will let you grow a little bit, but not fully. So you have a semblance of independence, you are paying your bill, a semblance of success, you can hold a job. The day you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to produce a higher life than the one the culture loaded you up with programming. That's when people will be going like, oh, yeah, you're fair. That's when the crack, the entanglement shows its face. It doesn't show when you are living beneath You are living at par or beneath expect. You are doing everything they want you to do. You are behaving the way they want you to behave. Everybody's expectation, you are living up to their expectation. Nobody's complaining when you are doing what you want them to do, when you are doing what they want you to do. The day you independently act, shocker, surprising, you shock everybody. They've been pushing their own will, suppressing yours. Will for will, spiritual forces. Listen, will for will. If you don't grow up, you don't mature. Power is not equally distributed. Remember at the beginning I said, listen, power, you withdraw power with knowledge. But if they've loaded you up with a knowledge that makes you even think you are small and they are big, they made you believe you are powerless and you believe that you are powerless. There's no other fight now. You just live as a powerless fella. When they say you should give them respect, but they owe you none. They say honor them, but they give you no honor. Knowledge is knowledge. The truth will set you free. When you choose, when you wake up one day and you realize you also deserve some honor, some respect, and you're like, give me my accolade. Where's my accolade? Where's my recognition? You've been giving people recognition all your life, bowing at whatever. Emotional processing will help you understand what's missing in the fourth dimension, what knowledge is helping you grow, and which one is leaving you defeated. That's the only issue in the world right now. And unfortunately, more people are going on social media that is also designed by the gatekeepers. Certain behavior will only be rewarded. They are programming you again to be skipping and scrolling on life, giving 10 hours when the straight road for you to achieve success is a straight line. If you have instruction, you have direction, you have the right coach, the right guidance, you can go wherever you want to go and come home and sleep and live a good life. But oh no, these platforms want you to take a year, 2 years pursuing on a rat race, wild goose chase with your life and destiny. Oh, is the next scroll, is the next scroll, is the next scroll. What are you searching for you've not found? Is it that, right? The platforms want to make money. Why? Because the more people spend hours on their platform, they make more money. This is just things people need to wake up on. Why do you have to spend 10,000 hours on a platform to achieve success and progress? The straight line to success is not 10,000 hours on YouTube University. But guess what? You use your energy to help other people make money. If you don't know how to use your energy, remember I shared at the beginning that those who don't perform the work of fourth dimension vision, if they are not visionary, if they are not mission oriented, if they are not intentional with how they consume the power, spiritual power to produce, guess what will happen? The people who are visionaries will use those people to achieve their vision, to build the life they want to build. That has been happening all through the history of mankind. All through the history of mankind, the hierarchy of humans is built on this fundamental principle I just shared. People who don't know, or who haven't bothered to know, or bothered to develop themselves, their capacity at the fourth dimension, who haven't done the real work of soul level assignment, spiritual assignment, alignment to destiny, to purpose. Those who don't do this work, they build other people's stuff. That's how the world is organized. Because in the fourth dimension is where you go strategy. Who, what, where, when. That is the hard work where you use information, you gather knowledge, you gather abilities. This is where you architect what is going to be produced in third dimension. It's in the fourth dimension you produce the design of what the world outside will look like. And if you are not part of the ranking of people who use fourth dimension principles to decide what the world is going to look like, the world you want to live in, if you choose not to design it, you will live in somebody else's world. They will design it for you. They will tell you who to be. They will tell you how to act. They will tell you what they will give you. They will build the life for you. That's how the world is. That's how, listen, that's it. Listen, whether you know it or not, the world is built this way. Those who are at the top, they are thinkers, they are strategists, they are visionaries. They see a world that doesn't exist yet, and they invite people to come and build it for them. And when they finish building it, they will sell it to the people who didn't do any work. That's how it's designed. So when it comes to wealth and this, wealth is not evenly distributed because knowledge seekers are not everywhere in the world. The people who don't seek knowledge don't build wealth. Because you cannot build wealth on ignorance. Bible says by wisdom you fill your house with wealth. By knowledge you establish it. And so you look at the map of the world. All the people that don't want to read books, don't want to spend on intellectual prowess, who don't want to listen to the truth, those people who they are the ones who complain and will say there's no money, there's no this, nobody's doing this. Why? Because they've not bothered to dig the well of knowledge, to seek the wealth of knowledge that will rescue them from nonsense. And they will be complaining. Listen, you are living on the same planet Earth with everybody else. The only thing different that it starts with what knowledge and have you exposed your heart to. In fact, not just your heart, your spirit. Because it is your spirit that uses knowledge to release power. And so the mapping of wealth, the mapping of power, the mapping of leadership, the mapping of everything follows the dimension of knowledge bank, power bank, because you will use your will to mix the two together to produce. Whenever you want to produce, right? Bible says, be fruitful, multiply, replenish the earth, subdue it. Who subdues the earth? Knowledgeable, powerful people. Who doesn't subdue? Who are the people subdued? Powerless, no power, right? Ignorant people who don't, right? This is the ranking. This is the distribution. So now in the third dimension, I always tell people, emotion is what determines wealth distribution. All the money, all the property, everything you want, it's attraction, pull. The people who have the will, the power, the knowledge of how money flows, they're the ones pulling it every day. They put their tank in the streams of money, and they open the tap in their house. Money is coming. By wisdom, you pull wealth into your house. By wisdom, by understanding, you pull it. You establish. If you want to be wealthy, if you want, because not everybody wants it. Not everybody wants it. So emotional processing is connected to wealth, because what stands in the way, you produce it in your heart first. What you don't produce in your mind, in your heart, you can't because the quantum field, the third dimension, has laws, energetic laws. It maps people by frequency. How you are vibrating, your emotions is the expression of your energetic vibration. People of the same feather flock together. It's like everybody is ranked and grouped in the energetic layer based on their energetic vibration, their emotions. I've said this before. Happy people make more money. Why? Happy people are living a life based on their own intention. They're not living for you. They're not using their energy to make other people happy. They are pleasuring themselves because that's what you were designed to. Now, when you are independent, guess what you can now do? You can now be generous out of your own will, not because, right? Jesus said he gave his life. Nobody took it from him. That's independence. That's the spiritual independence I'm talking about, that everybody is supposed to mature into, but not everybody gets there because of lack of emotional processing, owning your heart, owning your soul, cleaning up nonsense, the residue of your past, your childhood. If you don't deal with that thing, you cannot be independent because your heart is already loaded by thoughts that take people down. If those thoughts are not your thoughts, if those thoughts are not the thoughts of God, if they are not true for you, it makes people dysregulated a lot.